go back-to-back. Can we get a double scoop of the goop?
Back, we're here at Albion Park for the scoop. Chris, Inter Dominion, it's not far away. Is it a two-horse race?
Well, the market says it is, and they both return with another strong round of performances again on the weekend. Leap to Fame second up, Don Hugo first up. Both were super impressive, and the market says they're the only two in contention. It's a fair gap between Don Hugo and the next in betting on the third line. So it's going to be interesting, given that the final's going to be over the long journey, 2 miles. Does that mean the advantage is clearly with Leap to Fame, given that this series is being held on his home track? So it's hard to sort of come up with something else. I'm sure we'll know more after night one, but at this stage, it looks like being a two-horse series.
Well, that said, the winner of the Rising Sun potentially takes on a spot in the Inter Dominion, and the Rising Sun, we've got another couple of invites issued.
Yeah, well, hasn't this race really changed dramatically in the space of a week? Here we were last week saying, oh, not sure where we stand. So we've got 5 confirmed runners now. We're going to have another one come out of the Queensland Sun, so that'll make half the field. So we're going to go with 12 over the 2,138 metres. So the janitor goes in, joining the 2 3-year-olds. So we lost Always Hot, the unbeaten sensation for MSU at Clayton Tonkin Derby winner, New South Wales Derby winner. But in goes Fade Away, who's the reigning 2-year-old of the year, and Rubira, who's a last start feature race winner and has beaten Marketplace, who's the Boone 3-year-old in New Zealand. So they're 2 good gets. So I don't think we lose anything in that respect, so it certainly adds a little bit of depth now to this race. I think this Queensland Sun race is going to be fantastic on the weekend. And just an update, the 2 that are confirmed, Delhi Row was beaten behind the janitor at a trial last week. Bay of Biscay trials tonight, so there's a big set coming through from Melton, so it's going to be very important to see how he performs in that trial. Yeah,
really strengthening up there, and into another race in the carnival. It's in week 2, the 12th of July, is the Proto Star now at Ballarat. They hold a slot. Interesting race there Thursday night.
It looks a great race, so really looking forward to watching how this race unfolds. I know, speaking with a number of Victorian connections in the recent weeks, you know, over the last 6 weeks, they've become a little frustrated with the race programming. It's hard to get 2-year-old races to stand up. So here we are with a race on Thursday night. It's going to be very interesting to see how it unfolds. Naturally, MSU at Clayton Tonkin with a really big hand here, but there's some real depth in this race, so I'm looking forward to that. But furthermore, a tour magic for Willowdale, Shane Sanderson. He's going to race on Wednesday night at Bendigo. He puts his record on the line. He's unbeaten so far, 1 for 1. Can he be 2 for 2? And Rewatch, who's confirmed, he's due it back at the trials very shortly.
Speaking of trials, the Melton trials, you mentioned Bay of Biscay, but that's going to be a big trial session. A lot of potential superstars lining up.
Yeah, absolutely. Pacers and trotters. So Bay of Biscay down to trial against Catch Your Wave. We've got Call Me the Breeze up against RC Phoenix. Show Me the Tan Lines, who's already locked away for the Proto Star. They're all set to go around. So that's going to be a key trial session to look back upon. So really looking forward to that. Here's another one just going on the Proto Star. Justin Prentice has got a 2-year-old that's unbeaten in Perth, Ideal Beach. He's 2 for 2. He's not coming over for the Proto Star, but making a few inquiries. There were a few asking if he was available and interested in making the trip. He said no, but he wasn't really sure about it. But upon further reflection, if he had been given a little bit more time, he was dead keen to be here. He's a wonderful horseman, Justin Prentice, and they've got very high hopes for this guy. They've got a number of local features coming up in the next couple of months, but with a little bit more time, we could have got a 2-year-old from Perth contesting this $500,000 feature.
Well, it has been a little bit quiet on the announcement front in that regard, so disappointing there. Deadline, well, deadline's fast approaching for a lot of things, but you can give us an update here.
This is a good 3-year-old. This is a really good 3-year-old. So it's interesting. We've got Fadeawaits and Part the Greatness, proven performers here for the Dixon stable. We've got Raka Sandy joining the stables of Chantel Turpin, Pete McMullen. Strike'em set to join the stables of Shane Graham, Kelly Dawson. Now Deadline is set to join a leading local stable. It's going to the stables of Shannon Price. A 3-year-old by Better's Delight, 8 starts, 2 wins, a couple of placings. He's been chasing home Marketplace in good races over there in New Zealand. I think he's due to come over on the same flight as Strike'em early next week. So he's going to be here for the Derby features, so he's going to be one to keep an eye out for. He's a pretty sharp horse, previously with Tom Baggery in the Christchurch area.
Speaking of handy 3-year-olds, this guy, he ran a mighty slick time at Bathurst in the heat of the Gold Chalice and then went on to win it, Jack's Ultimate Fury.
He's definitely headed our way. He resumed with a win off that Bathurst feature, the Gold Chalice, with a victory there last Friday at Wagga. Went good time. They're keen to get here for the Derby, but furthermore, they're keen for a start if they get the opportunity in the Rising Sun. So we've got the 2 3-year-olds that are confirmed in Fader Waits and Rubira, but they're more than happy to take on the 4-year-olds, but he's definitely headed our way. He will take on the Derby, so Queensland Derby and the South East Derby.
Hesitate, we saw him up here for the Proto Star last year. We got an update on where he's at?
He trialled last week for Luke McCarthy. He's set to race this weekend at Menangle, so he's keen to get here. Another one chasing a spot in the Rising Sun. So all of a sudden, we've got 3-year-olds wanting to put their hand up and take on the 4-year-olds. As we know with the Rising Sun, no 3-year-old has won. Rock and Roll Hammer was second. Leap to Fame could only manage third in his year. So there's a number of 3-year-olds that are keen to give it a crack this year. So he's headed up in the next couple of weeks, but he will start this weekend. And his new stablemate, Beach Ball, also raced by Mick Harvey. He trialled last week, trialled well. He's also starting this Saturday night in Sydney. It looks like it's going to be a good program at Menangle this weekend, and there's going to be several stepping out that are bound for Brisbane in the coming weeks.
Speaking of Mick Harvey, he's got a horse in the Proto Star this year with Rewatch. Where's he up to?
Yeah, so he's going to trial in the next week or so. Brad Hewitt more than happy with the way he's done. Of course, Brad's been away in Europe with the locomotive, so he'll probably trial in the next week, and then he'll be headed to Queensland, full steam ahead for the July 12 feature.
And his stablemate, Captain's Knock, he's headed to the races.
Well, still no guarantee that he's going to be here. He had that trial at Goulburn. They were looking at either trialling him or racing him this weekend, but they haven't locked it away as yet with Captain's Knock, so we're just going to have to wait and see. So he's definitely headed up with Rewatch, and he's got a nice filly called Precise, who was a winner at Wagga last Friday. She's definitely coming up for a shot at the Oaks features as well. So Brad Hewitt is going to have representation, but we're still waiting if Captain's Knock is going to make his way to Brisbane for the Inter.
Now, I've got a Party Central.
Yeah, nice horse, Adam Regari. He was another one that was at the trials recently. Beautifully bred, this guy, Party Central. So don't be shocked if he heads up for a shot at these derbies. All of a sudden, the 3-year-olds are starting to come out of the woodwork. We've got several Kiwis arriving. We've got plenty of local talent. Party Central wouldn't be out of his depth taking on a couple of these big guys in the derby features.
Now, Tasmania hasn't had much luck with their AFL team. How about their horses? George Street tried to tell you?
Tried to tell you firstly, a little hiccup, hence why he didn't go to Melton last week, but he's back racing this weekend in his home state of Tasmania. So this is going to be a really important race for him this weekend, but they're still keen to get here, definitely for a shot at the Redcliffe Cup, and then hopefully into the Inter-Dominion Series. So we'll know more with him after Sunday night. And George Street is here in Queensland, so he's arrived safely. Of course, he won that big feature 2 starts ago. He was unplaced in the Sheffield Cup last time out, but he's here, ready for the Redcliffe Cup. He's the son of Captain Treacherous, nice horse, so look out for him in the coming weeks.
Ronnie Salas is a man that does a good job with a small team. He's already been in the Winner's Circle Tuesday, likely, potentially a double. Seaside Glory, a pretty handy filly he's got. Yeah,
disappointing news. She was a scratching out of that recent Breeders' Classic series. Didn't go around in the heat, so therefore out of the final. So her season's basically over before it even got going, really. She'll miss the upcoming Oaks features. She'll miss the Triad. She's going out for a spell. I think, looking at it long term, this is the right thing to do, but I think she's very underrated, this filly, and with a little bit of luck, her record could be a lot better than what it is right now, but she's going to be out of action for the next couple of months.
Bit of stable movement news in terms of heading north and a long way north. Sheer Artistry's on the move.
Yep, sold to America. This was the mare that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. There was a deal in place and then it fell through. New deal in place. Deal is done. She's bound for North America. She'll do a super job up there in North America. Doesn't matter what size track she'll go on. She'll be really competitive. Good money deal as well. So Sheer Artistry goes. Al Benson, they've locked away a deal there. So he's bound for North America as well. So we'll lose a couple of our nice up-and-coming types.
Elusive, heading that way as well?
Yeah, I mentioned this mare a couple of weeks ago. There was talk about her coming up here, but it looks like a deal has now been struck and she's going straight to North America. So no Queensland Carnival for her. She's going straight to the States.
Corbin Newman headed home. Connor Clark comes in.
Yep. So plenty of news there. So Corbin Newman goes home. Looks like he's going to pick up a gig with Regan Todd, and Connor Clark from Victoria gets a great opportunity. So he's going to be moving up. He'll take up that position with Mouse Brennan, and look out for a new young driver in the local ranks.
We've had we get a bit of feedback from everywhere, and those that like the Riverina form, there's a bit of stable news there. Tickerlock and Harperville.
Yeah, they're going to local stables. Tickerlock was that winner of the big Riverina final down there recently. Joins the stables of Sean and Michelle Grimsey, and Harperville going to the stables of Mitch Cox.
And
this Saturday night, this is a cracking night on Saturday night. This officially gets us underway with the carnival. Every race you look at on this 10-race program, just class everywhere. So I'm not sure which race is the most race I'm excited about. Is it Oscar Bonavina going up against Gus, Captain's Mistress here at Albion Park for the first time? She went to Redcliffe for a trial last week, handled that track, so she's definitely going there for the Redcliffe Oaks. That 3-year-old clash between Ribera, Fate Awaits, that Queensland Sun race, the Janitors in action. This is a cracking card, and we've got a new bistro in action. It's going to be operational, so if you're in the local area, Friday night, Saturday night, the Home Straight Bistro is going to be back in action, a new name.
yeah, Home Straight Bistro is there now. Of course, it's pretty well booked up now for Inter-Dominion final night, as is the marquee. The lawn is still available for final night, so there's still packages available there, but the first round, the 5th, the 12th of July, they're probably the nights you want to be looking at booking, because final night, if you haven't booked, you might just have to be in the general admission. Other than that, I think we're done, Chris.
We're done. It's another busy week. Looking forward to next week.
And Goop looking to go back to back. Can we get a double scoop of the Goop?